Hello, my name is Pixie People, and today we're going to tell the tale of a kid who was abused by his own best friend and became the second best hero villain. And the story might compel you, but stick around. So let's get started. As you can see, my audio's gone, so let's ignore that. We'll start at Deku's birth. I see. Uh, his dad had to go off, and after he was born, the sad truth came. Uh, he got in a car crash and died very badly. That's exactly why Izuku didn't have a dad at this timeline. Obviously, the guy didn't go get the milk, you know? And, that's pretty much it. That's all I'm adding to it. Let's say Deku has more black hair than green hair this time, but still green is very visible. And, I think, yeah, we'll just get to when Izuku loses his, gets told he doesn't have a quirk. Let's get started with that. Oh god. Oh. And everyone, Deku never had a quirk in this timeline. It wasn't maybe, like, hinted at, maybe. But we'll just get started. And, um, a guy named, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, sorry, I'm thinking. I keep thinking. It's, gosh darn it, I've lost track of time. Uh, oh yeah. It's just the same, it's not Dr. Fujiko this time. It's just a normal doctor who got called in to see at Deku's quirk. Sadly, we all know how the story is. Deku doesn't have a quirk, and he's just devastated, crying, sad, because he's already seen Bakugo's behavior around quirkless people. He's already started beating people up. He's already getting more violent. After that, he gets back to school, and as he expected, Bakugo starts beating him up. One of these days, he tries to save a kid from Bakugo, but obviously, the kid just runs away like a little bitch, and Deku gets his ass beat. After that, Bakugo's behavior got even worse, because he saw that Deku still wanted to be a hero even though he's quirkish, and it shows how weak he is since he needs a quirk, and he doesn't, to have all that bravery. And that's why he's mad at him in this timeline, but it's a bit worse. Let me think here. Yeah. Sorry, I got too focused on my gameplay. But, yeah, after a couple years, after about, he was like 7, right? I just thought of something disgusting, but, you know, I'm not gonna tell it to you, because that'd be just rude, you know? It's like it's boys. Excuse me? Ah! Die. Bing. I die. It's, sorry, I keep getting off focus, I'm apologizing. Um, after all of that, right after that, Izuku, uh, has just realized that Bakugo will never, like him for him. Bing bong. Um, so he stops trying to be his friend now. So Izuku, right after that, Izuku is just too, can't do this anymore. And now Baku's bullying's gotten to the point where it's not just scratches and bruises, it's breaking bones and bleeding. Obviously, Inko is obviously very, 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 very worried about her son and keeps telling him to move schools, but he just won't, and no one knows why. Baku loves this though, since he can still beat up Deku. But after that, we cut to that part in the series. I think the beginning of the series, besides the Izuku stuff. Then after all that, bing, 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 bing. Um, let's just say, let's try some voice acting here. Not real voice acting, obviously. We're just gonna say the lines. If you want to be a hero so much, you can just jump off a cliff. Oh, Jesus. Um, oh, I died. But, let's continue. Sorry. I keep cutting away from my ideas. But at the time, Izuku now is like actually considering doing it, but you know, he's saying not to do it. But eventually, after 3 weeks, he decides he's gonna do it. He's done. He's done with all this bullcrap Baku's doing, and he's just gonna do it. So he goes up to the cliff, takes off his nice shoes, writes in his notebook that he apologizes for ever even being born, which is just depressing. I don't like when Izuku says that. And right after that, he jumps. But for a split second, he realizes that he can't be a hero if he dies. He falls and he dies, or so he thought. He's actually perfectly fine, and he's just chilling in a hospital bed. I will tell you the story later of how that it works, how he's even there. It's just not now. No, I ain't dying. God dang, this boo just not giving up with his whole blogging. I got it. But, he wakes up from the hospital bed and decides maybe he'll become a hero still. So when he's walking down the street again, he decides to, um, at the time, god dang. At, mm, yeah, so when he's walking down the street at that point of time, and he dies. No, wait. He's down in the hall, and boom. Sludge Villain shows up out of actual nowhere. And at the time, Izuku kind of decides he's gonna live, so he keeps trying to bust out of the Sludge Villain. He continues to try. He's not stopping until he gets out of this freaking Sludge Villain. But it's too late. He's passing out. But right when he's about to die, he hears, "Ha ha ha! I am here." And right after that, he saves him with a Texas smash. And then boom, he lives. All because of one great hero. Good hero. Then he asks, well, he just still passes out. And he tries asking All Might for an autograph, but when he checks his notebook, boom, already there. But before All Might jumps off, Izuku jumps on his leg. And we'll just cut from the whole part where he says, "If you draw me, I'll die." And after that, they're talking, and boom, poof. The All Might becomes a skinny skeleton of what All Might should look like, and of course, a person who thinks All Might is a god of things. So then, right after that, you know what I mean. Obviously, the infamous line of "You can't be a hero without a quirk" shows up in Izuku's mind. So but then he knows that you can be a hero without a quirk because he's heard about uh, his best friend, who basically could become a hero if you were just smart enough. But he just decided not to not take someone's clever. But at a time, happened to grab him. But at, and after that, Izuku just knows he can be a hero because if he just was smart enough. But All Might just keeps saying that you can't be a hero no matter how hard you train or how much gadgets you make. But he keeps resisting, and eventually All Might hits him. And Izuku, again. But then when he leaves, then Deku just sits there, walks down the stairs, and then hears boom in 3 exclamation points. And now he hears boom, boom, boom. So he runs over there and sees it's Bakugo sitting there, getting attacked. And he just knows it was his fault that Bakugo is the situation. So, Izuku now thinks that finally Bakugo gets his payback. He knows that Hero's just gonna save him, but he's getting payback for all the bullying he has endured. But then he sees all the heroes are just sitting there, just watching him die. But now, but now, Deku, instead of running to save him, is, "I can't believe no one's saving him. I can't believe no one's saving him. All heroes that a hero that doesn't save someone shouldn't even be a hero." He'll just continue thinking that, and then All Might pops up out of nowhere. Now, knowing that he has more time because in this timeline, All for One hits less. All Might hits harder. All Might hits a little less. All Might hits a bit less in this timeline. All for One hits a little less in this timeline. What am I thinking? What? Okay, I got it. But, so All Might just pops in, saves Bakugo. In this timeline, I'll say this later, but and exactly when Izuku gets and uh and on the time period, um oh, I'm thinking, I'm sorry. How should I go with this? So in this timeline, when Izuku takes a different route, so Bakugo doesn't see him. No one sees him. All they see is this quirkless boy just walking home. Well, they don't really know he's a quirkless boy, but they still think he's like weak because they see his. But he started thinking that all heroes that don't save people should stop being heroes because they don't deserve their hero license. Even he would have saved Bakugo if he had the power. So all he thought of doing was killing them. He just continued killing them. That's all he continued thinking. He didn't stop thinking about that. He just continued thinking that. If I had a power, I would have killed all those heroes and saved Bakugo at the same time. So Deku, instead of taking the test, he starts training. Continue training and continues training until he gets a nice physique. Like let's think Android 16 is Android 18, I think. No, I think it was Android 17. Yeah, Android 17 physique, but a bit buffer, you know? Just think that physique. Like, think that physique, and, after they start thinking, so right now, Izuku is now designing a vigilante suit of some sort. Then he's fighting a villain. He just wants out, let's just say it's a black vest with a hockey mask, because in this timeline Izuku plays hockey, even though no one wants to play with him, but he does know how to play. And Izuku oh and at the point in time that Izuku now knows that, because when he looks down in he sees a hero, number 5 hero. I don't know who the number 5 heroes is, but trying to rape. I'm sorry for using that word. Why did I use that word? Trying to sexually assault a nice and calm lady. So Izuku jumps down with a knife that he planned on using only for slicing like tendons that didn't kill you but like knocked you over, which he knows thoroughly. And then jumps down and cuts his throat open. Actually, no. He jumps down, stabs his head in, rams it in like think the goriest kill you've ever seen in the head. Think worse, but like so it's gotten open, like it's split in half, and he splits it in half. And obviously, killing the number one hero is obviously gonna do some shit, you know? So, the only reason I'm on broadcast right now, one viewer, sorry, I had to talk to the one viewer here, is that I'm doing a what if right now. What if Deku was a villain, you know? And at the time, Izuku thought this was a good thing since he just saved a person and killed a vile human. But the the nice young lady says that he's a murderer, absolute disgusting, revolting, and should burn in every type of H2O delirium. Hell, double hockey stick, you know. I know you guys can spell, but still, I'm gonna try not talking as much slurs as possible. After all, after after all that, the he, the heroes hear about the number 5 hero dying, so obviously they're gonna try getting revenge. But sadly, the girl couldn't get his name, his anything, except his villain name. And his villain name is, because she says he's a villain, but actually he's a vigilante. So then he does actually call himself a villain now. If people call him a villain and he's doing something heroic, he'll be a villain. He'll be the best villain in this entire world. But on the top, but right now, but right now, let's say Izuku starts thinking about more a more deadly tactic on killing more more deadly hero suit, well, villain suit. But right at the time that Baku, not Bakugo, Deku is designing a suit, he. But right now, he's thinking he should just kill all the heroes, but he knows he couldn't kill All Might. So he kind of thought, if I can just start out small, he can do this. So he goes for, he tries to go for, he wants to go for Mount Lady since he thinks that she's the worst person on this planet because she's using her body for, views, as he says. But he shows up, and starts killing, shows up at her house or apartment and starts beating her, just starts beating her with brass knuckles because he just knows that this lady is terrible. But then he looks at her table and sees her her niece. So he stops beating her up, ties her to her bed, and then leaves with a note sorry on the photo. On the photo. But luckily for Deku, she couldn't see his face, so no good for Izuku. So right after that, Izuku eventually, right after that, Izuku goes home and starts crying because he just attacked an innocent lady because he just thought she was the worst thing on this planet. But Izuku then puts himself out of that by thinking that he can do this. He could do this, he could do this, he could do this. We're gonna do a time skip so Izuku can, like, get Rust out of Rust. So right after that, 10 months go past real quick. Izuku, like, thinks about taking the test, but decides not to. You know, the hero test, you know. So, right after that, we're gonna cut to, Bakugo now. Him taking the test, and he's weirded out that he doesn't see Izuku, because he knew Izuku was gonna take the test. That's what he thought. But actually, Izuku's at home right now, thinking about what new weapon he should add to his arsenal. So, after that, I think, uh, Izuku Bakugo then takes the test and just knows that he's gonna pass, obviously, since Izuku isn't here to distract us. And he does just sit in the class, just laughing. Sits in the little test thing. He takes it and he just shuts up this idiot blue-haired kid who probably has a stick up his ass, and he just sits back down, just gets twitches and gets mad at Bakugo. And Professor Might thanks him for quieting down his fellow future classmate. And then Bakugo just takes the test. It's all simple. He just blows up all the robots until he sees a slightly black-haired kid. So he runs over there and is about to blow it up because he just thinks it's Izuku, but he stops once he sees it is a guy who just has a telekinesis quirk. He's just trying to get by, but he almost blew him up, so he got so scared he pissed his pants and ran off. And Bakugo is just either terrified or confused why he peed himself just because the guy almost blew him up. Didn't blow him up or anything. He almost blew him up. So right after that, we just cut to Bakugo being first on the leaderboard and Bakugo going home, cooking some dinner for his parents, and we're gonna cut back to we're gonna cut out of Baku's POV. He's a bit confused why Izuku isn't there though. He's kinda confused why Izuku hasn't popped up later. And right after that, we cut to Izuku cutting open let's say, a pig-type hero, you know? Let's just say it's a pig-type hero, alright? He pops up and, kills him. He, kills this hero because he thought he was the best hero, even though he knows it's probably Endeavor. He thinks it's Endeavor. He definitely thinks it's Endeavor because Endeavor saves people with all this rage, but still saves people without, like, pulling a fake smile or anything. Because that's what he thinks All Might's smile is now. Just a fake smile that he puts on for people. So that's what he puts in. That's what he thinks. So he thinks Endeavor is the best hero. He has already killed the thing. We're not gonna... And after all that, we cut to, a couple... Right after, all this, Izuku runs off to his house and eats dinner with his mom, saying that he got into a karate school, karate college, karate school. That's what he got into. Then right after, then we cut to Izuku just looking at the television, getting mad because he sees All Might on the TV, and his mom is confused why he's mad because he thought he liked that hero, but he says he doesn't like him anymore. He says he likes Endeavor more. Now, then then she also comments on how scary he is, and then she's pointing at it, her imagination. It's Endeavor being really pissed off and looking like a devil. Then right after this, Izuku leaves. He goes to bed. Then we cut to, I think we'll cut to, I don't know who we'll cut to, actually. I think we'll cut to, what are we cutting to? Yeah, we'll just cut to Izuku killing another hero. We'll just cut to Izuku killing another hero. Let's just say it's a butterfly type hero, and this hero was trying to get drugs because the only way her quirk can work is if she's super freaking ecstatic. But she can't really get ecstatic anymore, so she gets tuckered out real quickly, so she just gets high and then was able to use her quirk more eventually. But sadly, it makes her quirk a little reckless, you know? Makes his quirk a bit more reckless, you know? So right after that whole situation happens, Izuku just laughs. Then right after, Izuku jumps down, instead of just killing her right away, grabs the coke, runs off with it while the butterfly hero is chasing him. And then it makes him laugh because he's just chasing her into a crowded area, showing the coke, and it actually has her name on it. That's why he showed it. That's the only reason he showed it. That is the only reason he would show it. So then they all start gasping, and then Izuku then pulls out his katana. Yeah, I gave him a katana, correct. Or maybe I should give him like one of those small katanas that aren't like. Yeah, I'll give him one of those small katanas, like what Shisui had. You know, just think about that. But like it's on his hilt. We'll just say it's on his hilt. You know. We'll say it's on his hilt and something. And then right after this, Izuku stabs her right in the chest and killing her, taking her blade out, then splattering the blood all over the people, telling them that now they have uh, an addict on all over their faces. So then he runs off, and now people know him a bit more. And he has a bit more armor on, and his mask is a bit more updated, looking more like a bunny. Then we'll cut to Bakugo's first day of UA High, a couple months later. He did get accepted, by the way. And after all that, right after that, he he walks into class, sits down, and then starts calling Bakugo a complete idiot and stuff. Oh, we'll just ignore the fact that I ignored the 0 pointer. Let's just say Ochako touched it and it flew in the air. Let's just say that. And so Bakugo just sitting there, and then he sees this guy with red and white hair, and then he gets interested, and he gets up and tells him, "So what is your quirk? What's your quirk? icy hot looking bastard. And he just says hot fire and ice, and he just laughs because what he said was right. He is an icy hot bastard. But right at that, but right after that, um, but right after that, we then cut to Aizawa waking up and then telling everyone to shut up because he's trying to sleep. But then he tells all the class to put on their gis and everything, and he tells everyone that he can do that we're gonna go do a status assessment for your quirks. So then right after that, Ochako yells that what about whatever that stuff is. Then right after that, no, Bakugo then yells at uh, Aizawa that no, Ochako that she's being dumb and we shouldn't be wasting our time on useless things like talking to weaker people like class 1B or any other class. And then Aizawa slightly smirks and then tells them to go put their things on and meet him outside. After all of them getting changed and Kirishima admiring Bakugo's physique, and they get all the things, and then they go outside and Bakugo sees something in a tree very far away. Then we cut to Izuku's POV where about 5 minutes later, 5 minutes earlier, where we start with Izuku beating up a hero. Then he sees Bakugo and walking down the street. Obviously, he's beating him in an alley. So then he just starts following him, and sees that he got into UA. So he starts laughing very quietly, like, and he does get a bit triggered because, and is a bit happy that he got into UA because he still thinks he's a pretty good hero. He would be a great hero if he just had the chance to change. And that tiny speck that Bakugo sees, it's Izuku. And to Izuku, then we'll just go back. Then we'll cut to 5 minutes later, where Izuku climbs up a tree and then watches Bakugo's assessment on his test. So then after that, we cut back to Bakugo laughing that no one can beat his score on the yeeting thing. But then Ochako goes after Suyu Asui and throws it to an infinite. And Bakugo gets really mad and runs over to Ochako and tells her, please gets triggered because he has been outplayed from a girl who needed saving, but he didn't save. So he ran over there and tried to get her, but Aizawa stopped him and did that. Then right after that, we cut to Aizawa's point of view. And then Aizawa looks over by the trees and gets a bit spooked seeing a guy with a bloody blade, a bloody knife in his hand, and thinks of going over there, but he knows if he tried running over there, the guy would be long gone before he got over there. So, and then we just cut back to Izuku's point of view. We just cut to three people's point of view, by the way. Deku's, Bakugo's, and Aizawa's. And plus, he does think that he would probably lose to a guy with they think has a quirk. They think, I'll call it the bloodied bunny. Yeah, the bloodied bunny. The dark green bloodied bunny. Yeah, there we go. That works. Yeah, that one works. That one works. I'll work with that. And after all that, Izuku then beats up. Then right after that, we cut to Izuku's point of view at home, cleaning his stuff off in the bathroom. Then eventually, people will start like noticing that the hero villain takes a specific past. So then they start following him eventually. They start figuring out how to sneak up on him and other stuff. So they start beating him, and then they find his home and sees that he still lives with his mom. So eventually, they try getting Izuku because they've been eyeballing him for this past year. This past year, after no, not this past year. This past few months, past 2 months. This is after Baku got into school. Past 2 months. This is 2 months before Izuku. Yeah, it's 2 months. You get what I mean. Two months before Baku got into UA, and 2 months before Izuku got, let's say, a flash grenade. Then they bust down the door with two heroes. Uh, pretty weak ones. There's one with a tiger quirk, makes his whole body look like a tiger, but he's like 20 times stronger than a tiger because human plus tiger, pretty buff. And there's a water quirk user thinking that he can just stop Izuku from moving with his water quirk. And Izuku knows that they're coming. He actually knew that they were there this entire time. He knew they were there this entire time. So eventually, he knows they're gonna come. So he tells his mom that we ran out of milk. But the truth is, Izuku chucked all the milk out of the window. So his mom would be gone for a bit. Then after that, she leaves like 2 minutes before they get there. So when they get there, Izuku is already geared up, so they still can't know his name. They still don't know his name because he still hasn't shown his face to them. Then right after this, Izuku then chucks a kunai at the water hero. It almost cuts him, but the water hero is able to blast it away before it touches him. But then the tiger hero starts cutting up Izuku, so he starts bleeding, so he's running out of a bit of strength. And they're still confused why he still hasn't used his quirk, even though little did they know that he doesn't have a quirk. They thought he was a quirk, seeing how many heroes he's killed. And right after that, we cut to Inko at the store, seeing that on the news that her house is being attacked by heroes, surprisingly. So she starts driving home because she's afraid for her baby. Because who wouldn't be afraid for their baby? She starts speeding down the highway and everything. Because her baby's about to die. She thinks her baby's about to die. And we cut back to Izuku fighting the heroes, all bat and beaten, tendons ripping. He's definitely running out of energy, and definitely should start running, but he can't because if he ran, these people would just follow him and beat him up and kill him. And his mom would never find the body ever, probably. Then right after that, Izuku then awakens something in him, where his hands start heating up. Like they're so cold, they're cold somehow, but when he opens his eyes, his hands are completely on fire. But his body is perfectly fine. So Izuku eventually just thinks he has to use this power even though he doesn't know how to use it. So he tries throwing a fireball, and it works. He throws a giant fireball at the water hero, which the water hero tries cooling down, but it actually burns him somehow, even though he's water. Like, it completely all the water is steamed and everything. And then that fire hero just dies. He just evaporates. The water hero is made of water. So that's the only reason he died. He got evaporated. And now he's air. And now he's dead. Then right after that, we cut to Inko pulling into the driveway after 20 minutes later. Well, okay, but actually we gotta cut to the Izuku killing the Tiger Hero. The Tiger Hero... So the Tiger Hero's afraid because he just saw his teammate die. So he got afraid. So he obviously, like a bitch he is, started bolting with his pants soiled. Because he just saw a person die, obviously. Would you do that? Like, comment down below if you would do that. Because I damn wouldn't. Uh-oh. So then Izuku pulls his blade out, engulfs it with flame, and then stabs him with it, and then he just burns to a crisp. Bones still there. Just some flesh is still there and everything. So right after that, we cut to Inko driving into our driveway, and then seeing that everything's not out of the sorts, the door's not busted, everything's fine. You're wondering how Izuku did this? Easy. He cleaned, like, no tomorrow. Like, man, this man, actually, all his muscles are burning, and he's in a bath right now, just telling his mom that he needs to clean off, but actually, he's perfectly fine. His body's just so cold, he needed to turn on a very boiling, like a freezing bath, like a boiling bath. Like if you touched it, your skin wouldn't feel anything. But Izuku right now, it feels like one of those like those nice spa baths to him. But we then cut to Izuku. We then cut to Izuku, who is very afraid right now since his quirk just awakened and he doesn't want to tell his mom, surprisingly. So after that, Izuku then hops out of the bath, gets robed, and then comes out of the bathroom all perfectly fine, even though when his mom was trying to use the bathroom, she was, like, steaming in there, man. Like, completely hot in there. So she, like, just aghast at how her son is just perfectly fine. Right after that, we cut to Izuku now running over some buildings, now testing out his power, killing heroes and everything. Then we cut to the sports festival. Yeah, let's cut to the sports festival. And then they said that were there if some person tried hard enough, they would be able to join the UA sports festival if they tried hard enough. And guess who decided to join in? Izuku Midoriya. But guess what Izuku Midoriya did? He obviously put himself under a different name. He put himself under Hasashi Sidoris, I guess. No, that doesn't sound good. Hasashi Green, let's just say Hasashi, whatever Japan version of tea is. Then right after that, we cut to him being in the thing. Obviously, he dyed his hair and actually did some makeup to his freckles and eyes. So now he looks a bit more feminine. So he made himself look like a girl. But he didn't. But he said he went from he, she pronouns. So that's why he looks like a girl. But acts like a boy. And he also asked if he could bring in his baton, and everyone said yes, as long as he put padding on it, but not enough to where the point if Izuku hit someone with it, it wouldn't hurt. So he does that, and he gets in and tells Kachan, which he calls Bakugo in this version now, because obviously fake name, fake stuff, that he's gonna win, and I don't care what this guy says. And people are a bit mad because they learn that Izuku, well, Hasashi, in quotation marks, is a quirkless person, so they get all mad and tell everyone that they can cut him and second place can win. So, after that, Izuku then has a plan to get in at least third place, so he can at least show Bakugo that uh, yeah, show that a quirkless person can still win. Even though Bakugo doesn't know who the frick this guy is, he's still gonna show Bakugo that a quirkless person is still strong. And obviously, Bakugo is gonna get his whole brain shattered because he doesn't know how a quirkless loser got third place and he's in first. So that's where he's shooting for. So then we cut off to the race, and Izuku saw Todoroki, and he knows who Todoroki is since he's a big Endeavor fan. So he thinks that Shoto would be very glad to have the number 2 hero as his dad. But then when he looks at him, he sees that he's a bit broken. That's what happened. That's how he looks broken at the time. So he thinks that Endeavor might be not the best hero. He might be a great hero, but he might not be the best person. That's what he's thinking right now. But sadly, he can't. Obviously, he doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person. He just cares what kind of hero you are now. He used to care about that stuff, but now he doesn't. But apologies. But right after that, we then Izuku obviously knew he had ice powers and fire powers, so he just hops over the ice, flies right through it, and busts down the ice with his baton. Then he starts running like almost as fast as Baku and Shoto because he has a pretty good physique. Now let's think more Goku physique, but skinnier and a little more rounder. Yeah, we'll say that. So he's almost as fast as Bakugo and Shoto, but not using their quirks. Let's say that. So they're both not using their quirks right now. So that's the reason he can catch up to them. That's the reason he can catch up to them. That's the whole reason he's able to catch up to him. Like, I can't. There would be no way that Izuku could catch up to 2 superhumans unless he went on Shoto's ice. He's dealt with 5 ice users before, so he has built-in ice skates into his shoes. He did man-made them, which was pretty impressive because he is pretty much a genius, right? Let's just say yeah, right after that. We'll just start with the whole Izuku beating up a 0-pointer somehow. Well, we'll just say he dismantled it in like where he popped a limb off, and that's what happened. And that's how he took down a 0-pointer. Followed in front of all the people, and we get the funny scene where Kirishima sees that there's another hardened person here. Then Izuku then just runs ahead and just slightly hops across the little bump things. You can't really block that. Then after that, Izuku just and right now Izuku is thinking that he could so beat these guys if he just used any of his weapons. But he decides not to because if he used any of his weapons, they would all lose completely. Because Izuku's full gear shows that he can beat, like, even the fastest of heroes. So right now, we cut to, Izuku beating the absolute crap out of, those mines, because... But Izuku's a bit smarter in this version, so he collects a little more explosives than usual. So then he shoots so far ahead that he cuts even through Bakugo in it, and, cuts straight through them all. Like, he cuts through Bakugo, Izuku, he just cuts through every single person there. And then he just hits more bombs and just blocks himself again. And then he gets first place in the whole run. We'll say that. Okay, buds? Okay, buds? Yeah, that's what we'll say. And right now, Izuku then kills, in quotation marks, that win. And obviously no one wants to be on his team because he's quirkless. Except Kirishima, Tetsu, and... No, not Tetsu. Kirishima, Mina, and, let's say, Momo. Because they all think he's pretty cool for joining the match, even though he is, just quirkless. So, he obviously deploys a plan that Baku, that, 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 the best plan is Kirishima being on the bottom well, like bottom front, and Mina being, actually no, yeah, Mina being on the side while Izuku is on the other side, and Momo will carry the points. Obviously, the 1,000,000 points does put a big target on their back, but Izuku has a plan, so they take it. And after that, right after that, we cut to Izuku then freaking up, right after that, we have to kill. He then also kills this round because when anyone tries to get for his thing, he immediately tells Kirishima to block immediately, like he full hardened. Because if like any hero one with a zone attack, it's Kirishima. Kirishima just blocks it. He just continues blocking, and he starts speeding up They start absolutely milking their points to stay alive. They don't even try going for other points because they know if they tried to get for other points, they'd probably get cornered into threes, and eventually Izuku, meant to say Kirishima's quirk would eventually cut out and we would lose. That's what Izuku thinks is gonna happen, which isn't gonna happen, obviously. So right after that, we cut to Izuku and them having 2 seconds on the clock and them still having their ban. And Todoroki and Bakugo eventually then use steps for Izuku to get to Izuku, and Bakugo just flying over to Izuku and try grabbing the points. 3, 2, 1. Bing, bing, bing. Game over. Luckily, Izuku was able to weave all her attacks and kill who? What am I saying? Who kills who? Kills who? Kills who? And then kills, who does he? I'm starting to think here. Sorry. Kills, I keep saying kill, but he hasn't killed anyone yet. But they do also kill that round. They did really well on that round. But right after that, we cut to Izuku now now having to fight the people he was trying to help. You know, he was trying to help them pass as far as possible, but now he has to win. So we cut to the first battle, which is Shinso versus Hasashi uh, T. Asashi T. Asashi Camel Meal. Asashi Chamomile. We'll say that. We'll say Asashi Chamomile. That's what we'll say, is that. We'll say that's Izuku's name now. Asashi Chamomile. So Shoto, Shinso, and Asashi Chamomile. Then they start fighting with um, Shinso throwing all comments at him that he needs a weapon to beat any kind of hero, that he's probably better than him just because of that stick, and that all the power he holds is from that stick, and he'd probably die without it. He keeps saying the baton is a stick. Suki gets bit mad and tells him to is about to tell him to be quiet, but then his brain just smacks to that tail guy that walked up to him, which is Ojiro, obviously, sat down and told him to be careful in this next match because he felt like his brain wasn't in the right place. So then he stopped talking, analyzed his facial expressions, and then he realized that his quirk is manipulation, and if you talk to him, he'll kill you. Well, take control of your brain. That is what would happen if you tried to speak to this guy. He could instantaneously take your life if he wanted to. He could knock you completely. He could just. That definitely would have been a problem for everyone because they would have been afraid. He would think that he could talk to him, but sadly he can't talk to him because if he tried talking to him, it would he would lose. But he did after the match, because obviously all that happened after that match, all that happened after Ixusu was analyzing, he just smacked the crap out of. Wait, yeah, because they still think Hasashi is quirkless, but obviously our story is told that he does not have a quirk. He does have a quirk, but everyone says he doesn't have a quirk because of his test. So we'll go to the next battle of Bakugo. We'll go to Bakugo's next fight. I can't remember the first fight, so we'll just cut to Kirishima versus Bakugo. So we'll just cut to Kirishima versus Bakugo. Alright? Alright, people. Then right after the battle, obviously Bakugo is getting a bit mad because he sees how good the quirkless loser is doing, so he gets a bit mad that right after that we cut to Izuku's point of view laughing because he knows Bakugo's thinking about him, because there is a specific face where you can tell that Bakugo is thinking of Izuku. It's him having a bulge on his face and him looking really mad. Him having a bulge on his face and him being red hot because he hates Izuku that much. Besides the fact that he misses him in every sort of the way. I meant to say that he knows that face because he used to make it at Izuku because he hates quirkless people. So right after that, we cut to Izuku, Bakugo's point of view again, and he just knocked out Kirishima and wins. Then we cut to Izuku versus Shocho. Oh my god, this is gonna be a slaughter, maybe. Well, we'll first need to see how this goes. well, um, when he sees that, Shoto is getting a bit cold there, he comments on it, obviously, since he's an absolute asshole. In this timeline, obviously. Obviously, in the other timeline, he'd be concerned, but in this timeline, he comments on it and laughs at him for it. Then right after that, we cut to Shoto's point of view, finally. And he gets a bit frustrated at Izuku because he thinks he knows who he is. Because the funny, haha, funny. But right after that, who do we cut to? Yeah, we cut to Shoto's past, but it's a bit worse. That to the point where you remember when he hit him with that pipe? Yeah, that's not a pipe anymore. That's a freaking metal bat, like a pure and silver metal bat. So that hurt way too much for him, and that he would break a couple bones after this. Then right now we cut to Izuku now getting mad at Shoto that he's not using his full power because he just told that he isn't using his fire. So he gets a bit mad. He gets very mad actually. Yeah, because wouldn't you be mad if you were fighting someone and they didn't use their full power, full strength? You know. So Izuku then starts yelling at him to use his full strength or he'll kill him. And everyone in the audience knows he is not joking. He will kill him if he does not use his full power. So Shoto doesn't take this serious, obviously, because Cork is useless person versus Ice God. But after he starts smacking around his ice like it's nothing, he then gets a bit mad because he's losing to this this annoying Corkless person. Then eventually he starts yelling at him to give up because there's no actual way that he'd be able to get first place because you're a quirkless nobody who doesn't even deserve to be in this tournament. But right after this, we cut to Izuku then getting every type of bulge on his face. Then eventually he's just deciding that never mind this bullcrap of getting him to use his full strength. He ran towards him completely, bloodlust in his eyes and face and everything, bro. He is triggered. So then right after this, we cut to Izuku beating the living shit out of Shoto. Like, bro, I don't even know what you're talking about because that's how freaking brain damage Shoto is. That's how much brain damage Shoto has dealt with. So he's decided that he's gonna kill him because you do not mind his his past quirklessness, especially since he knows he has a quirk now. That'd be even more triggering if someone told you you were something, but you actually aren't that. So Izuku, then after beating up Shoto a bit, Shoto gets a bit triggered as well. Not as the level of Izuku, but still triggered. He still gets all really triggered, obviously. He tried parrying it, but you know, after all this attacking, we cut to Izuku, Shoto yelling that he won't lose to a useless villain even if he has to use his dad's quirk. And right after that, he gets so mad at Shoto that he tells him that it's your quirk, not his. So he hates when people tells them that it's his parents' quirk and not his. He's heard that line so many times in his lifetime. So he eventually tells him that it's your quirk, not his. But in a way more pissed off tone. Obviously in a way more pissed off tone. But after that, we cut to Izuku, then freaking up, then getting very spooked because he's gonna get he's gonna die. He's so gonna die, like, but then he knows that he needs to do what he needs to do. So Izuku uses a slight, not visible flame, like, it's so hot that it's not even visible. So where he uses it on his bat, where only he can seize it. I know that's kind of bullshit. So he runs up on his ice. It looks like Izuku's breaking it, but he's melting it with his stick. Then he hits Shoto right out of the ring. Pure luck on Izuku's part, because if he used a slight any more strength, he probably would have lost. If Izuku didn't have that fire, Izuku would have been probably would have lost. Would have lived, but probably would have lost, sadly. Which wouldn't have been the best storyline. So we're just saying that Izuku kind of won that fight. So it turns out that, yeah, boom boom, all smoke. Right after that, we cut to Izuku beating the living shiz out of what the heck? Then after that, we cut to Izuku. I think cut to Izuku, who's panting like freaking crazy here. And after that, Izuku then yells at Shoto that he should get up because there's no goddamn way a quirkless uh, cut of loser killed him. Well, not killed him, he says, defeated him. So he keeps yelling at him to get up because he's really freaking mad that he's telling him that no way a quirkless loser defeated you, and he tells him rematch, rematch, rematch. He's getting really triggered that this Endeavor's son is lost to him because in his eyes he's a quirkless loser. And I mean Bakugo in Shoto's eyes, he yells at him that in his eyes that I am a quirkless nobody who doesn't even deserve my title. That's what he's starting to yell at him, but when right after that we cut to Izuku getting really mad at Shoto that he won't get up. Then we cut to the next round, sadly. It's just Bakugo versus Tokiyami. Bakugo yeets Tokiyami out. Obviously, since light beats dark. Explosion counts as light. Then after that, we cut to Izuku, then punching the actual shit out of, Then we cut to Izuku and Bakugo's fight. Bakugo then, before they start actually fighting, even though the timer said go, they actually sit there for a second and start talking. Because Izuku starts complaining that all the people he's fighting so far has had this problem, that problem. And he's getting a bit mad that people have all these problems that he has to deal with. And it's really annoying to him. It's annoying to him, obviously, because you can't just get... If you don't want to hear someone's problems, you don't have to hear them, obviously. So he decides that he's gonna defeat Bakugo at his full strength. Because right now he hasn't used his full strength. Like, I meant to say, Izuku has been using his full strength, but he's decided to keep him from death. You know? Right now, Izuku and Baku, in their brains, have told each other that they're going to destroy one another, even though we all know who's gonna win. But right now, we're gonna think that whoever you think is gonna win. Type in the comments, I guess, who's gonna win this fight right now. Timestamp will not show up, but still. Please stop dying. Frieza, 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 Frieza. Sorry. I'm mad because I got killed. But, then we'll cut to them both yelling, I'm gonna win. In their brains, obviously. They're not gonna actually yell at each other. But they will tell each other psychopathically, not actual psychic version, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, you know? I am screwed. But, we'll say that, they both say, we will both have great fights here. And decides that they're gonna beat each other. Oh my Jesus Christ, bro. Do you see how fast? Do you see how bad I'm getting mixed here? Bro, do you see how bad I'm getting mixed here? Yeah, you can see how bad I'm getting mixed here. But we'll cut back to the fight. And the fight is going actually into Izuku's favor, actually. In Izuku's favor, but we all know how that's gonna end. Uh, but, you know, wait. I didn't say nothing. I said nothing. But, we'll then cut to Izuku running at Bakugo. And Bakugo running at Izuku. And he gets really scared at, how, like, pissed Izuku is at this random... He doesn't even know who this guy is, obviously, because he only knows this is a quirkless loser who thought he could beat him, obviously. Obviously. So, when they think, bad users of, a quirk, they don't think Izuku, they think, probably Akakare. That's what they think, obviously. Then right now we cut to Izuku freaking up. Obviously, we cut to Izuku fucking up. All the heroes, obviously, like, How and Sir, and they're both just after a couple head blows, couple cripples, couple breaking each other's ribs, and pulling limbs, and popping limbs, and everything. They then cut. Then we then they both slide back from each other. Izuku then uses his strengthening fire flame on his arms, back, and body. So we'll cut to Izuku freaking up. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to, I keep trying to think that I could, bro, do you see how badly I got mixed there, bro? Where's my health at, bro? But we'll cut back to the, we'll cut back. Drop it. Oh, okay. I'm getting way too mixed here. But, we'll cut to, God, okay, my brain is, like, actually shutting down. But we'll cut to them both, well, not cut to it, we'll just go to, then they both yell attacks that Izuku will just say, uh, break bone stick attack. Breaking bone, uh, whatever the thing's called again. We'll cut, then we'll, see how, then, after all that, we'll cut to, nah, I keep saying cut to, but I will not cut to, that. Then we'll cut to and then we'll see Izuku yelling at Bakugo, yelling, how and sir, but, and right when they're starting, they just see that, what road they gonna do, so, we start out with clouds, smoke everywhere, and then we'll see Zuko out of the ring slightly, while Bakugo is slightly almost out of the ring. So then we cut to now Izuku killing, not killing, but losing and getting into second place. But Bakugo is still mad that a quirkless loser got in second place and he didn't get a flawless victory. So then after that, we'll just finish the game. Then we'll finish. We're done. Not right now. Like, we'll finish the arc. Then we'll cut to Izuku just freaking up a fool, and, you know. Like, then we just cut to Izuku killing a man, you know? Then we'll just cut to Izuku. And we're like, then they're fighting, and, they decide that they're just gonna fight each other, you know? You know what I mean, you know. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Then we just get to the metal scenario where he's just sitting there. They're both just sitting there, looking at each other, not even facing each other, obviously. Not even facing this man, obviously. I don't even know if I'm on this. But well, not even, it's not even facing this man, though. This man is not even facing. This man's not phased. This man is not phased at all. So, Izuku's not phased. Third place goes to Tokiyami. And, actually, no, we'll make Shoto third place this time. Let's just say, one person was out. Yeah, let's say Benedetto's out. Let's say Benedetto didn't exist, so Shoto was able to get third, and they both are pretty calm about winning. But, winning's third and second, but Bakugo is triggered that he got first place, but he almost lost. That's the only thing he's triggered about. But, you know, he's gonna win even if he'll take the win. He's just a bit mad. Not in change like he used to be. He's just really triggered. Like he's just tells All Might that he'll get far stronger than that, far stronger than him. Just nice, more nice than usual than the other version. But right after that, we cut to Izuku uh, going home, telling his mom that he had fun at his karate college, at his karate school. So he's all happy and stuff, and so then we cut to Izuku, uh, then snapping let's just say a hero that doesn't deserve happiness or life. Let's say he likes children, a little, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, man? Right after that, we cut to Izuku, then, killing him. That's it. He just kills him. He kills, he kills the hero as soon as he sees him even try the thing. You know, free candy, you know what I mean? So Izuku grabs the man, actually throws him in the air, like, picks this man from his legs, yeets him in the air, grabs his taser, tases his balls, and then continue tasing his balls until they just stop working. And that'll cut his appendage off, then to shove it down his milk swallower. That sounds dumb. Let's say water drinker. And right after that, he kills him with a yeets with a wait, what was this thing? Oh yeah, a yeet, which is the yeet. I mean, is he grabs a noose, yeets him over a pipe, and then snaps his neck. Then nooses him, pulls his pants down, and it shows him with no PP and taste balls. And then he gives the kid a lollipop, and the kid is actually happy. And then he goes back to his mom. Goes back to the park and his mom, and he tells the story about a hero who saved him from getting R at capital P lowercase e. And well, then we'll show that Izuku is now punching the actual potatoes out of a hero that likes the women more than saving any man. He's even seen him save a woman that was about to fall off out of the second story building, which everyone had and she was fine. Out of a guy who was on the fourth building fourth stage building. And obviously this guy can fly, so he would have been able to get him, and she would have been fine. But he decided to get the girl. And that guy later was crippled, almost died, and almost sued him. But the only reason he got cut is because his agency was bigger than his company. So then after that, we cut to Izuku then beating the actual crap out of him. Then he grabs his cape, because obviously he has a cape, and then just starts strangling him with his cape. And then when he's about to run out of oxygen, he lets go so he can catch a breath. Then he'll just yeet him in the air, cut off all his limbs, and stab him in the heart. And then after that, we'll cut to a hero walking on the situation. But Izuku knows which hero this is. It's the hero that Ida interned with at the beginning. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, at the beginning. Ida at the beginning, like that hero. But Izuku just runs up on him, grabs his baton out, and just knocks him straight out. No head trauma or anything. He just gets knocked out. And and after all that, Then after that, we cut to Bakugo's point of view, where we were about to get into the, okay, let's just say, let's go back to the thing, you know what I mean, I'm so sorry I skipped this, I didn't mean to do that, I apologize. But we'll go back to the little thing with the whatever the USJ is. USJ. We cut to the USJ. So USJ is happening. So then Bakugo is running around with his about to blow up that Konigiri, but instead, and Kirishima and Bakugo are sent to the boat this time. And obviously, Kirishima can't do anything, so he just starts. Then Bakugo saves him, picks him up, then they blow out of the water and land on the boat. Obviously, Bakugo doesn't know what he's supposed to do since he can't hit them in the water because they'll just intentionally dodge it, punch him, and kill him. Because they'll obviously gang up on him and beat him up. Then right after that, we'll cut to Shigaraki's point of view. Him now admiring the guy who just kills every single hero, quirkless. No, he does know he has a power now, but he did see that he didn't use his power, so technically he was quirkless at the point in time. So he's still impressed with him, so he stays. He says that, I hope I can see this guy at the sports festival. Because he thinks that Izuku's trying to kill the Class 1A. And yes, Izuku is trying to actually not kill them. He's trying to kill, let's just say there's an extra hero there that, did heroin. No, I didn't say anything. Let's just say he did a certain drug that isn't good for you. Let's say this hero has a power of beams, not like a Kamehameha. Like, it looks like a Kamehameha, but it's not Kamehameha. It's just some beams, like lasers. You know what I mean? Then Izuku just busts through the skylight with a parachute, man-made parachute. It's pretty dope. Then he flies over and kicks the actual shit out of that hero. Then he throws him to the villains, and then the villains kill him. The villains actually like he tries to live, but all his bones are broken because a villain had a quirk that if he touches you, which he bumped into him, he can make you break all your bones. And he thought his power was overpowered since the only way to stop him from using his laser is you break all his bones. And that's what happens. And then then stab him to death. Sharp hero starts killing him. They just start shaking him, and then he dies. And then Izuku just is about to run away, but Shigaraki tells Korogiri to stop him. And they teleport him in the middle, right at Bakugo's point of view. Like, they chuck him at the boat. Like, they don't chuck him in the water this time. They chuck him in the boat. Like, in the boat. They throw him on the boat, and Bakugo obviously thinks this hero, the Vigilante, is gonna kill him. But he tells him to... Then Izuku tells him to wait. Oh, the the green bloodied bunny tells him to stop because he was just here to stop a hero from making anyone's lives go away. And the hero is already dead, so he's just saying that he's just gonna live. And obviously, Bakugo doesn't believe this vigilante because he doesn't know it's a vigilante. He thinks it's a villain. He knows it's a villain. I mean, because he gets really triggered and is about to kill him. But he decides to run. He decides to tell him a plan, but he just ignores it. And Kirishima's just in the background, confused why there's two people. Why this villain is still standing? Why hasn't Bakugo trying to explode this man yet? The only reason Bakugo hasn't exploded him yet is because he feels some type of connection with this guy. So they like make up a plan that Bakugo will, where he'll jump in the water, uses flames to boil the water, and then Bakugo will then jump in. Since he's exposed to a lot of flames, he can just stick his hand into the boiling water, pick him up, and then they can just blast off with both the heroes, all the villains being knocked out. And that's what happens. Well, he does. No, I meant to say, Kirishima hardens his skin so the boiling doesn't touch him. Then after that, Bakugo then grabs him. They throw him in the water, and Kirishima hardens, grabs him, sticks his hand out of the water. Bakugo grabs him, and then they blast off on the boat again. Then they start driving towards the shore because the boat hasn't been destroyed yet. Because they got that plan out way too quickly. So they slowly start driving to the shore. Well, Izuku just sits there looking at Bakugo and is a bit... He thinks of just pushing him in the water and just ending all his rage that's built up over the years. But he then decides not to because he just thinks it's not a good time. He thinks that it's just useless. There's no point in me doing that. So then Bakugo then tells him that he's fine and he'll just... Why are you looking at me like that? And he tells him that if you think I'm gonna die, you're surely mistaken. And he tells him that he's mad. Then he just yells at him for looking at him weird, telling him that he might... Are you gay or something? And obviously Izuku isn't gay in this timeline. I'm gonna make this specifically clear. Then after that, they're all yelling at each other. So they're all yelling at each other. Well, Kirishima just ran in and yelled at them that they're almost close to the shore. Should he stopped, and then they should jump off. Because, obviously, when you jump off the edge of boiling water, it's going to be a little less boiled. We're just going to go with that logic. Then he hops off, then they hop off with him carefully just chucking Kirishima in there, just in case. And telling him that it's completely different from the other version of the water. So they hop in and sit there and watch Shigaraki fight Aizawa. While Izuku plans on leaving, Bakugo grabs him, drags him back in the water, and tells him that you're not going anywhere until this is over. And then Izuku just gets up and tells him that you can't just tell me what to do, I'm gonna leave, and that's it. And Bakugo is just yelling at him back, and eventually this catches the attention of uh, Shigaraki eventually, but he just puts it away, thinking that he can use this to his advantage later. Then he runs back, he goes backwards and tells Anomu to kill him. To kill that hero. To kill Aizawa, even though he thinks he's really cool. So they're trying to kill. So obviously, Nomu's gonna kill Aizawa if no one steps in. But right when Bakugo was about to step in, Shigaraki's about to grab Bakugo's face and take his entire skin off, just disintegrate him. But in this timeline, instead of Aizawa saving Bakugo, it's Deku saving Bakugo, where he punches Shigi right in the face, throws him off, and then suplexes him. And then then Shigaraki gets a bit mad because this stupid child tried to take me out. But then he sees it's his favorite Vigilante, and then he gets even more mad because he realizes that the thing he likes is actually the worst thing he's ever seen. So, right after that, Izuku tries to beat up Shigaraki, but the Nomu's about to jump him, about to punch him directly in the face. But luckily, Izuku is able to weave it with the power of absolute pure luck. He just has this instant feeling and dodged. That's all. He had that giant gut feeling that you feel when you're about to get your ass beat. And then he dodges. It makes like a mountain size, not a mountain size, like uh, a, a building level air explosion. So he gets a bit afraid because he knows he's gonna get actual killed if he even tries to fight that boy. So he's afraid because he's afraid of dying. So then All Might appears. He busts down that door and just bolts for Izuku. Not Izuku, the Inomu, and starts beating him up. But obviously, there's a stab. But then Shoto, Bakugo, and Kirishima save him from death while Izuku is fighting Shigaraki and Kurogiri. Obviously, it's hard for Kurogiri to get a lock on him since Izuku is so bouncy. Then we cut to Izuku and Bakugo and Shoto and Kirishima getting flown off, and Shigaraki and almost Kurogiri, but he's able to keep his footing. And then Izuku, Bakugo, All Might's point of view says that I don't know if he'll be able to grab his blood bunny, dark green blood bunny, because he'd be too tired to do that. So he's just decided he's gonna put all of this in this one punch. Go beyond plus ultra. And that's what happens. He punches them out of existence. But this time, instead of him going flying, he just implodes. Like, he just obliterates. He just obliterates from existence. He obliterates all of them. All of it. It dies. And obviously there's all this steam around him. And he's all afraid that, the children are gonna run towards him. But luckily, Cement Tossed touches the ground and then blocks him from being seen. But obviously, Izuku knows what's happening because he remembers that there was a giant, big, full of steam on him before he heard All Might punch him. And he specifically remembers that pain. And then afterwards, Izuku, Kirishima, and Shoto try grabbing Izuku, but obviously Izuku uses freaking smoke bomb. It's very effective, and he gets out of there. Yeah, and then we'll just say a couple. We'll just say a couple minutes later that that happened. Yeah. We'll just say that. And what arc is next after the what's that arc? Yeah, that arc. What is that arc? What's the next arc after that? Oh yeah, it's the Stain arc. Yeah, the Stain arc. And I think we'll leave that for next time. See you all later, and I hope you all have a great day. I hope you like the what if. I'll probably have a video without it, but have a good one.